Alright, let me explain to you my collection. So, first we have the $20 Maono lavalier mic, plus $5 for the dead cat. Then we have the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus at about $276 on Amazon. And then we have the Zoom H5 recorder, which comes in at about $279 on Amazon. And then we have the Sennheiser MK4, which comes in at $299 or $300 on Amazon. Now, in terms of investment, I kind of felt like these two were very good for like a typical vlogger. This is good for podcast and my ASMR. So I probably could have done with just this set if you're just like a normal vlogger. And this set if you want to do more like desktop talking, podcasty, ASMR stuff. Let me go over quickly what are some like pros and cons of each one. I will go into more of an in-depth review analysis later on about a few of these. First of all, the Maono lav mic. I haven't had a problem with it yet. However, without the dead cat, it does pick up some noise from scratching on your clothing. So the dead cat does protect it from getting any sort of like clothing movement sounds. Before that, if somebody speaks too loud wearing this, it will pop. So do be careful and do advise people not to speak too loudly if they are wearing this for your video. And when it comes to the Rode mic, I like it so far. You do have to change the internal camera mic settings when you are using this. It is a little burdensome to use with a gimbal as well because it kind of can knock some of the arm movement. Also, it adds weight, so if you need to rebalance your gimbal every time you put the Rode mic on, that's just something to consider. This one is like the most versatile. So this one can record audio on its own. It can plug in with the lav mic, it can plug in with the MK4, which it has to in order to power it. This one is definitely kind of a nice investment. And then lastly, we have not one, but actually two MK4s. The other one is out of the frame. But we have two MK4s, which definitely gives you the most buttery, delicious sounding audio out of all of these. So really quick before I switch to a nicer sounding audio, let me just tell you some basic things about each one quickly. So this one is these two are really good for when you're out and about vlogging. These ones are better, I think, for if you have more of an indoor tabletop sort of vlogging style. I do love the sound of this one the most, of course. Second place, I would put this one. I don't know how I feel about this one. I haven't really just recorded audio vocals with it per se. I do think this is portable as an option if you do need to go out and about and have like a lav mic and this instead of your cell phone attached to this. And it does pick up like ambient noises nicely. So if you wanted to get some sound design ambient noises, something like this would be great. First up, we're going to test the lav mic. Then we'll test the Rode second. Then we will test this with the lav mic and this by itself, and then this with the MK4. And then you'll have an idea of how all the different mics sound. Now that you've seen my collection, let me switch over to a better sounding audio for you. Okay, so I am wearing the lav mic, however you cannot see it very well because it is attached to my black turtleneck bat wing sweater. So here it is, right there, my little fluffy accessory. The thing about lav mics is that yes, you can see it as an accessory. Not only do you have to wear such an accessory, and if you're not wearing black clothing like I am, that maybe it might stand out more, but you do have to run this through your clothing. This long wire goes underneath your clothes and you have to find a place to put your phone or your recording device, whichever you're using. And I'm using the WavePad app, which does not take up a lot of like phone battery life, but it can take up space over time. So you have to go through and manually delete some of these recordings sometimes. Right now I'm on recording 58. That is good to remember and good to note. So when you're using a lav mic, note what recording you're on or the file number. That way it's easier to find. And I was snapping my fingers in the beginning of this clip, which I may or may not add in depending on how loud it is. A little bit of the Addams Family theme song, but you do need to sync your audio. So I'm doing this because I need to sync this to that, to what you're on. So I need to find the peaks in the audio on the Canon camera that I'm using to film this with and match it to the audio that I'm recording right now. It's something that takes a little bit of practice at first, but after a while you get pretty good at it. And even if you forget the clap or you forget to snap your fingers, you can usually figure it out once you have practice like reading waveforms. Alright, so that was the way that the lav mic sounds when it is attached to my iPhone. I don't know if it's different for different iPhones. I imagine it might be so. This is the iPhone SE. Yes, don't make fun of me. I have an old iPhone model. I just don't like the big ones that much. And I need it because I travel, and I need an iPhone because it has an international SIM card ability. Anyways, enough excuses. I haven't tried it with the Android. I do have a Samsung for my American phone. However, I have not tried it because I cannot download any more apps. I'm out of space. And I am using the Samsung currently right now as a monitor for my camera because I don't have such thing. Oh, look, it's me. It's like inception of cameras. Yes, this is how I know if I'm in focus or not, and if I'm ever not in focus, it's because of this. Or lack of it. So that's my reasoning. Anyways, so let's switch over to the Rode. Now the audio you're hearing is from the Rode. The Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, to be specific. Sorry, I keep staring at it. It's quite distracting. It's just pointing at you, you know? Basically, the reason why I got the Plus over the regular VideoMic Pro is because it turns on and off with your camera. So I don't have to worry about remembering to turn it on, and that is something that I would surely mess up at one point or time. Another nice thing about it is it has rechargeable batteries and a couple other features I can't remember. However, it is a little bit of an investment, but if you just want to do some like grab and go vlogging, I do feel quite like why did I live without this for so long? It's difficult getting this wired up all the time. This gets all the sounds that it's pointing at. It is a shotgun mic, meaning that whichever direction its little muzzle is pointing is the way that it's going to pick up sound. Someone's whistling in the hallway, so maybe you can hear that in the background. Shh. This is why I can't do ASMR properly. So many noises when you live in an apartment building. Anyways, it's so like worry-free, as well as I don't have to... The only thing that I potentially dislike about the sound is obviously clearly not as sophisticated as this over here, and it's a little bit more obtrusive, so when you're out and about, like people like might be more put off that you are doing some sort of serious filming, not just like normal tourist filming, but oh, what are they doing? Shop owners might pay like more attention to you. It does kind of get in the way of my Ronin S gimbal sometimes. It's kind of it just adds to the bulk. It just adds to more things to carry as well. But it is very lightweight. It does change the balance on the gimbal, as anything would, because it's a sensitive instrument. It's Really convenient, however, and I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm getting the sound. Okay, so back to the lav mic. I haven't attached it to myself this time, but it is in fact plugged into the Zoom H5. One other thing I wanted to mention about the Rode mic before I mention my little positive negatives about this is I remembered some of the other features. So this has a detachable cord, which is nice because if needed, you can replace this cord. However, like I'm not quite sure how like weatherproof this kind of makes my setup when I'm out and about. I would feel more secure with this on me and my cell phone in my pocket if it was like raining a little bit than to use something like this when I was out vlogging and it started to drizzle. Not only because like this whole thing is exposed and I don't know how weatherproof this is, it opens up my little doors on my camera. So all the little weatherproofing doors to my ports would be open if I had this plugged in. Yes. Anyways, back to the Zoom H5. So this is the lav mic test. I'm holding it, as you can see, a few inches to a foot away from my mouth. You do have to switch it. So when you put it on/others on the Maono little battery thing here, that means that it can take like recording devices. But if you switch it to off/smartphone, that is when you can use it with your Android or Apple phone. Now, this Zoom H5 it has two holes for like a normal mic jack. So the line out, don't put it there. The line out is on this side. That's for listening when you're recording. So if I wanted to, I could put some headphones in and listen to my voice as it's going to know how loud I am or if I have to quiet down. That's a kind of nice feature about the Zoom H5. You can get feedback. The line in is going into the top metal bit. This is changeable, this metal bit. So if I wanted to get a shotgun attachment for the top of my Zoom H5, I could do. This, however, is the standard one that it comes with. It does have a foam top for a windbreaker. I don't know why mine came with foam, but other people's gets the actual dead cat like cover. I quite like the dead cat covers better than the foam one. The foam one likes to fall off anytime anyone knocks it, and it's quite cute. Let me show you. It's like a mushroom head. So, as you can see, little mushroom foam head. They do have ones that come with like a fuzzy dead cat, which is nice. Or you can just buy it separately, but it's a little bit pricey to buy something like this separately. I wish my version just came with the dead cat instead of the foam. The file storage on this, it comes with a 2 GB SD card, which has recorded a lot of time before it got full. I'm not sure how many hours it got to, but it was definitely more than 2. Now, it's a little tricky, so you do need to like read the manual, play with the settings, and you need to change your dials and, try to work with it a little bit more. This is definitely a little bit more effort. It's not plug and go and change a few settings in your in-camera menu. This is like you need to read a manual. And you need to understand the menu controls. However, uploading it from the micro SD card to your computer is super easy. I was snapping my fingers in the beginning again because I have to sync this audio to the DSLR audio. It's just something to remember. All right, time for just the Zoom H5 to shine. Now I'm recording just on the Zoom H5. These are the mics that are picking up the sound. This is how it sounds if I put this on. How is the audio? How do you feel about it? Is it different from the lav mic to the Rode mic to now? I'm sure it is. They're all going to sound a little bit different, but that's kind of like a variety for you. Whatever you like the way Some people's voices sound better on other microphones than others, so maybe your voice just sounds super good on a lav mic. You never know. If you can experiment or try some out, that might be good for you. Time for the sweet, sweet finale. The MK4s plus the Zoom H5. Because unfortunately, there's no way these MK4s can even work without the use of this cable. Now I'm using the Mogami Gold because it was rated well for use with this in particular, with these microphones in particular. The Sennheiser MK4 microphones are like by far my favorite sounding microphones I've heard, not just only for my own voice, but for other people's voices as well. And the reason why I pulled both of them out and I have them both plugged in is so that I could demonstrate something for you. It's that I can get the binaural sound effect with these two mics. So let me change the settings and I'll show you. Put in some headphones or earbuds while you're waiting for me to change the settings. Okay, so if I come over and whisper into this microphone and then switch sides, you can hear the difference. It transfers from one ear to the other. Pretty cool, right? This is what would allow me to do ASMR properly. However, my living conditions are a bit noisy. As I'm in an apartment building, my door is metal, it just lets sound in, and my neighbors next door are particularly noisy as they are a couple and constantly fight and bicker and make noise and stomp around and thump and really seem to have no idea about how they come across towards others. I'm going to say that boldly because I just don't care if they watch this video. That's on them. Okay, so these MK4s are like my favorite investment so far with these microphones. Of course, the negative is you cannot take them around. You can't take them outside, really. They're really sensitive to humidity. There's like a gold diaphragm inside, and I've just read up on them that you can't drop them. You shouldn't put them in strenuous conditions. They are meant to sit on your table and look pretty, and that's exactly what they're good at doing. I was going to tell you another cool thing about this Zoom H5. So this is providing power towards the mics, which is also recording the sound. Now it's recording currently on the SD card, but you can plug this directly into your computer or laptop and record the audio straight into Audition or straight into whatever audio editing software that you want. You can also bus power from your computer or laptop to this. So instead of using the two AA batteries, which resides inside, you can plug it in and choose to do bus power. Now, this is, like I said, something you have to read up on and change all the settings. I've only successfully connected it to my laptop and straight fed and recorded audio into Audition once. I had to click within a certain order in order to set it up properly, and I forgot how to do that for now. I just use the SD card. And sometimes I do bus power to it because I don't want to waste my battery life because I don't want to have to go buy more AA batteries all the time. I do think the battery life on this is not that great, so it is nice that you have the option to plug it into your computer. It's not like you're going anywhere with it anyways if you're recording for a long time on your MK4s. So one thing that I would mention as well is that you do need to snap or clap your fingers because snapping or clapping your fingers allows you to sync the audio to your DSLR footage. Don't forget to push this button. I don't know how many times I've been talking and I forgot to push record on either my camera or on this, or both. That's the nice thing about the Rode mic, again, because as long as your camera is recording, your audio is recording. All right, well, let me know if you have any specific questions. I'll go into a more in-depth review of the Zoom H5 or how to use it. I'll go into more of an in-depth sound testing with these. I'm going to be doing more ASMR in the future. And I will see you next Monday. Bye.